So that's where we are. What does it take for us to be whole? What's involved? What is actually being whole? And we're going to look at that, and we're going to start with the first of these levels in body, mind, and soul. We'll start with the body. What's involved with the body? How does God see the whole picture? In a way, it's kind of almost weird when you think of it, is that here we are on this earth for a short period of time, and then what goes on here affects eternity. Isn't that kind of wild? But I guess it's not really surprising because, life itself, physical life, reflects what happens even in the spiritual and the bigger life. And when you look at it, that's exactly how we come into life in the first place. If you consider the first 9 months as we're forming in the womb, amazing stuff goes on in those first 9 months. There you are. That's you and I developing in the womb. And the whole thing is it falls on genetics, right? Genes, in effect, are making a decision. They are sequencing in a particular order, thousands of them, this genome thing going on. And if those genes and their decision go in certain places, you turn out a certain way. Depending on those genes, you'll have blue eyes or brown eyes. You'll be Asian, or you'll be Caucasian. You'll be all kinds of things. Even where these genes fit in will affect your disposition. You'll be an aggressive person or a passive person. You'll be smart. You'll be not so smart. You'll be tender. You'll be sensitive. You won't be sensitive. All with the decision of where these genes go. 9 months. Some of them are sequencing in the flash of a second into the place where they go in this replicating of the DNA. And the thing is, if the decisions are right, you grow up to be a healthy person. If the decisions are wrong, the rest of your life pays for it. You can be profoundly crippled or worse for the rest of your life by what happens in those first 9 months. And it's kind of a scale. Here you are in the womb, its own type of existence. These things are forming you by the decisions they make, and they are preparing you for the time you will leave the existence of the womb into a world that you can't even imagine at that point. That's a lot like our whole spiritual journey, only on a much bigger scale. In effect, here's a line to kind of ponder for a little bit, is that in the same way, this physical life is the womb of eternity. Things are happening, things are forming right now that will affect all of eternity for you and me. And the difference being that now it's not genetics so much that's making the decisions, it's your heart, and it's your mind, and it's your body. It's what you're doing with yourself. Physical actions you will carry out, decisions that you will make, and this little speck of time, this thing the Bible calls just a vapor, a wisp, just the grass here for today and gone tomorrow, this sets up the whole nature of your existence for eternity. How you form. It's the way it works. So what these bodies do becomes pretty important. The body is important. If I were to throw out one last analogy, let it be this. But those of us who are a little older remember the excitement of when the rocket programs really started to take off, literally in the 60s and such. And we had 3- and 4-stage rockets and all of these. Even to this day, I'm sure everybody, if I said, what does the first stage do for a rocket? Oh, it's that big honking piece at the very bottom of the rocket. The one that is really temporary. It's heavy lifting to get the thing out of gravity, isn't it? And then once it gets up there, and that stage is lost from the rocket. There's even on YouTube some great stuff. The camera on the rocket, and you can watch this thing fall away, burning up in the atmosphere as it's falling away. Well, that was a temporary piece of the rocket. It was gone in the first part of the flight, within the first few minutes. Was it not important? Wow. If that booster side didn't do what it was supposed to do, then you end up with something like Challenger, don't you? A whole lot of things just don't go right. The design of the rocket, all of it, is to reach the heavens, maybe on a long, long, long trip. But that long, long, long trip started with that first few minutes. If the first stage wasn't taken care of, in that same way, our bodies are that first stage. They are the place of formation. If I were to leave you with two mental pictures to take with you, would be this, is from that of the baby developing, of the fetus. The physical world is the womb of eternity. The physical world is the womb of eternity. And these bodies are the first stage to the flight into heaven. The first stage in the flight to heaven. So from that point, if you looked at, you are now, Christianity is now rocket science. And there you are looking at the course of your physical life. You're mapping out the trajectory of what's going on physically. Is your trajectory taking you towards heaven? Is what you are doing with your physical body helping to make you spiritually whole? Or physically, are you your biggest obstacle? You decide. You decide. God's given you the body. Now you decide what to do with it.